Hi, I'm Ellen Bader, and I'd like to ask you a question. While doing therapy, have you ever wondered whether one person is lying or telling the truth? If you haven't faced this dilemma, sooner or later you will, if you work with very many couples. It won't be long until you have a situation where a partner lies to their spouse. And don't be surprised, if they lie to their partner, they may lie to you. You will wonder, what is the best way to know what is true and what is not? I recently surveyed a group of therapists and 500 responded. When I asked about this dilemma, they reported feeling helpless, struggling with how much of a detective to be, feeling very uneasy when the betrayed spouse is too insecure to pursue the truth and is in fact too anxious to ask direct questions. They wonder whether to take a stand or not. In my search to better recognize deception, I had a private discussion with a court-appointed psychologist who is a 30-year veteran of testifying in criminal cases. He'd interviewed all types of criminals, as well as fathers accused of child abuse, and children accusing their parents of abuse. He'd worked hard to ferret out the truth in both sides of criminal cases. His conclusion, after all those years, was some people are terrible liars and they're easy to spot, even to an untrained eye. And others are such skilled liars that neither interviews nor tests could pick up the lies. He'd researched and refined his ability to spot liars, but his final conclusion was that there are severe limits on the ability to identify lies. So what this means is you can't always tell. First, it takes a very different mental set to ferret out the truth. The detective mental set puts you in a cops and robbers game with your clients that is antithetical to your usual therapeutic stance of support. Second, there are no reliable measures that can identify liars for certain. Forget about polygraphs, forget shifty eyes, forget nonverbal cues, forget brain scans that purport to identify lying. Forget everything that claims to be the answer. Would you believe that police detectives trained to spot liars in criminal investigations do not do any better than college sophomores? They get it right a little over 50% of the time, which is about chance. So exhale and go easy on yourself if you have been fooled or think you should be able to spot liars. Most therapists don't have the mental set, the training, or the stomach to cross-examine potential liars. But here is some good news. There are 6 guidelines that will help you assess when someone is telling the truth. These come from Aldert Vray's book, Detecting Lies and Deceit, Pitfalls and Opportunities. It's long, with over 2,000 references. He's compiled some of the most extensive research about uncovering liars. He debunks a lot of myths about lie detection. When you trust your gut and make note of his 6 guidelines, you will be more confident in your assessment of what's true. According to Vray's book, people who tell the truth have the following linguistic patterns. First, when telling the truth, the chronology of events jumps back and forth. We start saying something, and then another aspect is inserted. It's usually not a smooth, unbroken timeline. Points are made, and then background is filled in. This is especially true for emotional events not often told. Second, the more details and the richer the details, the more likely a story is true. A liar tends to repeat over and over again what has been expressed and is not open to providing new details. Third, truth tellers tend to report what or how they were feeling or thinking at different places in the story. This is especially true when the storyteller has a good capacity to express their inner world. Fourth, truth tellers aren't defensive when stating, "I don't remember," or "I can't recall," when they get asked new questions about different aspects of their story. Fifth, interestingly, the truth teller can initiate the expression that some parts of the story might be wrong, or that their memory of a particular aspect can be faulty. And last, self-incrimination. Often truth tellers will admit that they were wrong in making certain choices. While you will never be Sherlock Holmes, Columbo, or a crime scene investigator, following these guidelines will enable you to be more discerning. In my next video, I will talk to you about one of the toughest patterns of lying that occurs in couples' relationships, the pattern of the felony liar married to a lie invitee. I hope you will join me then. But first, please participate in the conversation by leaving your comments below. Specifically, have you struggled with a couple where you were never sure about what was true and what was not? Did you find any of the 6 ways to recognize honesty to be insightful or helpful? The work we all do is very challenging. I hope this guidance helps you feel less alone in your work.